I am Jeannie Leiterma. I work for Griggs. My previous background was working for Andrews Academy. And, huh? Oh, okay. Thank you. And I have to be honest, and I have to say this gingerly because these ladies love my boss. And I like my boss. But I didn't used to like Griggs a lot until I started working there and I understood a little bit better about what Griggs can do. And before I tell you what Griggs can do, Martha pulled it up on ChatGPT, so I'm going to read from this in a little bit because I get nervous. But I'm going to be honest. I worked at Andrews Academy, and we had a policy there that everyone who wanted to do anything had to go through Griggs, and I didn't love Griggs. And we would be honest with the families, and she's my witness because she's the registrar there, and we would sit there and we'd be like, you have to use Griggs, but Griggs is hard. And I'm not going to take too long, but how many of you have used Griggs and find Griggs hard? Oh, good. Yay, it's just me. Okay, that's okay. Until I started working there and I realized why Griggs is hard. In a classroom, and you guys are educators, know that you can do a lot of informal assessment in the classroom, and you can have a discussion, and you can understand that the child understands how the blood moves from the one ventricle to the other ventricle, and you don't have to have an assignment over it, and or you're in a math classroom and the kids understand, so instead of doing 25 problems, they can cut down to 15 problems. You have that autonomy in the classroom. Griggs is online and it's asynchronous. And so that's not always a possibility. You have to type out every lesson if you're in Martha's class. You have to do it and answer every question if you're in my Bible class. And so the reason why we didn't like Griggs wasn't because Griggs wasn't a good program. It was you sign up for Griggs in the summer, and especially you registrars who have students, who in the summer who have these great ideas. I'm going to do it during spring break. I'm going to do the class on Christmas break, and I'm going to do a summer, and I'm going to be done. You have these great intentions. The kids have great intentions to get these classes done over the summer, and then they don't. And then their lack of promises, broken promises to you becomes a problem in your world because they want to graduate, and they're looking at you because they didn't finish the class as if it's your problem. Does this track with any of you? So that's why I have a hard time recommending Griggs sometimes. I try to be very honest with parents, and I try to be very honest with registrars that students who come from brick and mortar schools have got to focus and stay disciplined, and they have to create a schedule, and there has to be some kind of accountability built into their life to make Griggs work for them. Unfortunately, sometimes those who come to Griggs are kids who didn't do well during the school year, and now they're trying to cram it in during the summer, so we're asking for even a double miracle, and you guys are nodding your heads, you relate. I say this to say, as registrars and as you talk to parents, strongly encourage that they need to have some kind of system. Can't just stick them on Griggs, and it's online, it's asynchronous, and expect the kid to do a semester's worth of work over the summer and think it's going to happen. Please set up those parameters. But that being said, let me tell you, Griggs, here's the thing about Griggs. It's going to be taught at a rigor and at a faith-integrated level that is aligning with everything that you do in your schools. That's what's awesome. They're not going to the local virtual academy and they're going to be done in a month. Because we saw this in this, I love this community, but we have some virtual academies where it's like, oh, look, I started yesterday and today I have my semester's grade. No, it's at a rigor, it's at a faith-based integration. We have checkpoints in the classes where they have to meet with the teachers. So that's one. A lot of you know Griggs from I need to do one class. What can I do because I failed? That's one thing. But what else can Griggs do? So according to Martha, which I lost your thing. According to ChatGPT, no. One of the other things that I wrote down that's not in here is that, number one, flexible learning options. Griggs for an academy is awesome because if you have a teacher or you couldn't find a teacher at the last minute, and you have a dear volunteer in your school, or you have a study hall guide, and we can be that supplementary for you. That's how we can support your schools. We offer classes that a lot of times you can't afford to have. And so they come online, yes, but they can sit in a classroom during study hall with your permission on a laptop, or maybe you have a guided facilitator where they can take American Sign Language because they don't want to take the one language class you offer. We offer 2 years of American Sign Language so they can check off their modern language that way. We have history options in case maybe they don't want to take just your typical world geography or whatever. We have African American history. We have, I can't think of everything. We have electives like entrepreneurship, computer literacy. I forgot all the things that we have, but we have a lot. We have a buffet of classes that can help supplement areas in which you may not have, or maybe you have a student who isn't cutting it at a certain level. They can take a slower class with us. We have culinary arts. The big thing that we've started to see success over is over the summer, we've been offering a cohort Algebra 1 in geometry that is live, online, with teachers, and this is the beauty of Griggs too. We can hire NAD teachers from anywhere in the world, really, and we're getting the best of the best. And so we have Martha who teaches, and we have Jennifer Jacobson from Sacramento Adventist Academy. We have, so you mentioned somebody else. Yeah, from Loma Linda. So we are getting teachers from all over the NAD to teach for us, and they're not. We have some retired teachers, but we have teachers who are, in the classroom now. So they know the stuff. They are relatable. And let's see here, what other thing? Currently we are piloting a synchronous algebra class. So maybe you have an 8th grade affiliated with your school. We have a synchronous Algebra 1 class. So your 8th graders or even your freshmen can take an Algebra 1 through us, and twice a week they are logging on to meet with a live teacher to answer questions, for her to teach live. They're not completely on their own. That's a good in-betweener for students who are maybe in Algebra 1A or 1B if your school offers stuff like that. They're not able to move at the quick pace that Algebra 1 might have. Anyway, so that's one of them. One other thing that we offer is language testing. So if your students come from another country and all you have is the only language you have is say Spanish, but your students I took French, or I know how to speak Korean, and you need to have them test out of a subject. It is, what do they call that? Adaptive testing. And they can take the test, and when it's done, it'll spit out whether they would have passed a German 1, German 2, possibly German 3. I didn't ask permission to announce that, so don't tell her yet. Lastly, for registrars, not that you want mail over the summer, one of the things I wanted to mention was before your students enroll, number one, we ask your permission. So we want to make sure they have permission. Can they come and take a class from us over the summer and say Algebra 1? Sure, but we want to make sure that we try to warn them. If they disclose to us that they come from one of our NAD schools, we say, hey, do you have permission? Because we want to make sure that when you finish this class, you have permission by your academy to put it on your transcript. So that's one. And secondly, when they enroll, your email can go into our system so that every Monday you can get a progress report. And or if you don't want that, you can email me every Monday, every Tuesday. Hey, how is Johnny doing? Oh, Johnny's not doing much, and I can email you back. So Griggs just has a lot of services. This is a brochure about Apple Schools. Apple Schools is a program that we have for if you have a group of, they're not a school yet, but they have a group of homeschoolers who want to come together. I don't know how to. Okay, you're going to go. But the reason why I gave you this was because stuff in here can be pertinent to you in terms of, hey, this is what our math class costs, or these are some of the classes we offer, or we don't have a language teacher this year, and so we would like to use your program for just language. I am not in charge of any of this. This guy is. So you can reach out to Mr. Nangle. He works out of our GC office. But yeah, any questions? And I talked more than 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
You did, and so I'm ready to kick you out.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions? Okay. Yes?
Can you clarify, you're saying if a student's enrolled at our school taking Griggs, I can reach out to you and you can email me their progress report?
Yes. FERPA protects us from doing that. FERPA protects us from, allows us to do that. And we can just put you in the system if you want. On that note, we tend to say, make sure the student knows, but we have the ability to email, for you to get an automated email without you getting any of the financial emails. So yeah.